Letting 150, Thailand 910. Request for climb 3000, Thailand 10.
Thailand 10, climb to altitude 3000.
Climb 3000, Thailand 10.
Aircon 856 is clear to land 27 left, surface is 240 degrees at 3.
What's up guys, welcome back to the VAC Virtual Aviation Community Channel. I'm here in the Beechcraft King Air 350, we'll be flying from Van Nuys to Palomar Airport in the SoCal region. We'll be on the Pilot Edge network today, great service, recommend you check them out. And we're going to be using a tec-route. So what is a tec-route? Well, let's get into it. So a tec-route is really no different than a normal route. You usually fly it you always fly it when you're flying IFR. It's an IFR flight plan essentially, but it's just pre-made for you, so you don't have to make it yourself. It's already there, and it makes it a lot easier on the ATC. Not all areas have them, but when you do, they prefer it if you use them regardless of what altitude you file at. So today we're going to be using the Burp 27 tec-route. It's going from Van Nuys to McClellan Palomar Airport. So you'll see a lot of these tec routes in the ZLA region, the ZLA TRACON, just because they're so popular and it's such a popular area to fly. It makes it a lot easier for the ATC to book you. So we have our altitude, which is 9,000 feet. That's what we're going to file for. So we're going to go ahead and copy this route, and you make sure that you're filing the one for your aircraft. So we're flying the King Air 350. And so we're going to be flying with a turboprop route. So this is either one of these two, depending on where LAX is operating. So this says this one's for LAX operating east. And this right here says LAX is currently operating to the west. And LAX usually operates to the west. So I'd say Burp 27 is far more commonly used than Burp 28. So we have 9,000 feet. And we're going to go ahead and file on Pilot Edge. So we have our thing copied. We're going to go ahead and paste that route right in here. Twine, Victor 518. Kimo, Victor 459. Seal Beach, VOR, Victor 23. And the Oceanside, VOR. So our registration for today is November 75, Quebec Alpha. Our aircraft type is B350. I believe that's a registration. If I'm wrong, I can always change it. We're going to be slant Zulu today. We're going to be operating around 250. We'll be flying under 10,000 feet today. Our departure location is, actually no, we're going to file higher than 9,000 feet because we're just going to be using the preferred routing rather than actually flying the tec route. But the tec route does give you preferred routing, and as we don't have tec routes all over the world, I figure it's going to be better to teach you how to do it like this. So our true airspeed is going to be around 300 knots, maybe we'll say 320. Okay, our departure location is KVNY, Kilo Victor November Yankee. We're flying to McClellan Palomar, which is Kilo Charlie Romeo Quebec. Our cruising altitude for today is going to be 9,000 feet. We'll go ahead and say 13,000 feet. And our alternate is just going to be, we don't have an alternate, we don't need one today. So we're going to file that flight plan, and it is now filed. So we're going to connect to the network using November 75 Quebec Alpha. So that is what a tec route is, that's how you use it. So now that we filed our flight plan, now we're going to go ahead and put it into the FMC. So we have the FMC right here, our starting airport KVNY, and we're going to input KCRQ, Kilo Charlie Romeo Quebec. Okay, and then our first waypoint is Twine, which is Tango Whiskey India November Echo. Schwein, then Victor 518, Victor 518 to Kimo, Kilo India Mike Oscar, then Victor 459, Victor 459er to Seal Beach, Sierra Lima India, then Seal Beach Victor 23, Victor 23 to Oceanside VOR, Oscar Charlie November. Execute. So now we have our flight plan, and we're gonna also go ahead and in our arrival, we're gonna assume that they're using 24. From the Oceanside VOR. Execute that. And we'll get into IFR charts in a second. Actually, we'll do it right now. So for all of my IFR flying, especially IFR and VFR in the ZLA region or in any region of the world, I always use SkyVector. It's a great service. It's free. It has all the charts in it for the entire United States. And so that's what we're going to use today. So we need the ILS approach plate for McClellan Palomar Airport. So that's KCRQ. McClellan Palomar. We're going to click on that. And we're going to go ahead and we have all the frequencies here and all this wonderful stuff. Everything that we need, but then down here is what's really important. So we have our instrument approach procedure charts, IAP charts. I'm going to use these for our approach. So we have filed for the ILS runway 24. So this is an ILS approach plate that you will see in the United States. We're going to be flying this approach from the Oceanside VOR right here. And so what do we do next? It's very confusing if you don't know. But we're flying it from the Oceanside VOR, and you can see that right here, this line is bolder than any other line coming from Oceanside. So you're going to fly the 083 radial from the station until you intercept this radial, the 002 radial, from the MZB station. Or if you're flying using a GPS, it'll do this for you and it'll tell you when to turn. Much easier. There's also flying from the Julian, which is a far easier approach. But as we're coming from here, we have to take this. So that's how you read this. The R means radial, and then the number after it is which radial it is. So from the Oceanside VOR, we're going to fly heading 083 on the 083 radial. Because if we're flying from the station, we fly the same heading, outbound. Okay, so now that we have our entire flight plan filed in our FMC, our engines are started and we're ready to go, now it's time to contact clearance delivery or ground. Van Nuys is a busy airport, so it does have a clearance delivery frequency, and it's 126.6. So we're going to go ahead and tune to that now. Com 1 on, and then tune 126.6, and transfer. So now we are on. So now we are on our frequency.
SoCal departure, to contact, climb and maintain 5,000.
Okay, so now we are ready to go. We're going to go ahead and call up our clearance delivery. Van Nuys clearance November 75 Quebec Alpha IFR to Palomar.
75 Quebec Alpha Van Nuys, clearance clear to the Palomar Airport on departure, fly heading 110, expect vector Schwein, then as filed, maintain 4,000. Expect 9,000, 5 minutes after departure. departure frequency 134.2, squawk 4173.
Copy all except for the departure frequency, so we're going to do the readback now. On departure flight heading 110, radar vector is Twine as filed. On departure climb maintain 4,000, expected 9 minutes, 10 minutes, expected 9,000, 10 minutes after departure. Squawk 4173, and we need the departure frequency.
For 5, Quebec Alpha, it's 134.2, rest of the readback, correct?
134.2, thanks. Okay, so he gave us an IFR clearance. So what is an IFR clearance? What does that entail? So he gave us a couple instructions here. The first one is on departure, fly heading 110. Self-explanatory. As soon as we take off, we're going to fly heading 110, and then the ATC will give us a radar vector to Twine. And if you remember, Twine is our first waypoint, right down here. So it's going to give us radar vectors to Twine, but on departure, we're going to fly heading 110. Then he says as filed, meaning that after Twine, everything else will be the exact same as what we filed, so we'll just follow what's in our FMC. He also said that on departure, we climb, maintain 4,000. And he did not give us, at any point, our initially cleared altitude, which is 12,000. So we were expecting 12,000. He gives us 9,000, which is what the tec-route says anyway. So it gives us 9,000 minutes after departure, meaning that if we lose contact with ATC, we will climb to 9,000 10 minutes after our departure. Our departure frequency is 134.2, so we will contact them, and our squawk code is 4173. A squawk code is essentially what differentiates you from other aircraft, and you enter it in the transponder box right here. So 4 1 7 3, right there. And on the ground, you want to have it turned to on, and then when you take off, you turn it to altitude mode. So 4173. So we're going to do some of our final checks, make sure everything is good to go. We'll go ahead and get our bleed air valves open, turn our bleed air to normal. Do stall warn test, gear warn test, overspeed warn test, cabin alt war, differential, wonderful. Now we are ready to go. So we gave us our clearance. We have our clearance. I explained to you what that was. Now we're going to go ahead and call ground. Now if you watched the last video, you know this is pretty simple. You need to know your location first of all. So our location is at the ramp parking tie down. But that's kind of confusing for him. So what we're going to say instead, knowing our location at the airport, and the runway is right there, we're to the right side of the runway, and I know from experience the water's over there. And I know that in the United States, when you're in California and the water's behind you, then you are not facing west, you're facing east. But what's important is that we're on the west side of the airport because we are closer to the water. So we're on the west side. So we're going to call them out of the west GA, tell them that we're ready to taxi. So the ground frequency is 121.7. We'll tune to that now. And turn the comms back on. Van Nuys ground, November 75, Quebec Alpha at the West GA, ready for taxi.
Quebec Alpha, Van Nuys ground runway 16 right, taxi via Alpha Charlie.
Alpha Charlie 16 right, 75 Quebec Alpha. So we gave us taxi instructions, taxi via Alpha Charlie to 16 right. AC 16 right. And as I said in my last video, I recommend writing everything down. Makes it a lot easier on you. So let's go ahead and let's get on out of here. As soon as I find that parking brake. There we go.
For 509, SoCal approach LE altimeter 3015.
So now that we're moving, we're gonna go and turn our taxi light on. And if you want to know about how to do these like basic taxi calls and all these instructions, I talked about it in my previous video. So I recommend you guys go check that out if you're confused about any of the stuff that I'm not talking about in detail during this video. If there's something I didn't explain, it's probably because I talked about it in my last video. But if there's something I didn't talk about in my last video and I didn't explain here and you're still curious, let me know either on the Discord or in the comment section below. It's really helpful for me just to know, hey, this is something that you can do better. So we're going to go ahead and taxi out now. Pretty quick taxi. And we see the Alpha sign, so we're going to turn left on Alpha because we know 16 right's over that way.
58144, contact LA Center 125.27. 12 Papa Foxtrot connects SoCal approach 134.2. For 509, turn left heading 280 to center, maintain 3000.
Okay.
And you're heading to the south ramp, correct?
You gave us Alpha Charlie. Now the Van Nuys tower frequency is 119.3. So we're going to call that up now. 119.3, but something else we're going to do that we didn't do in our previous video is we're also going to enter in a departure frequency. So he gave us a departure frequency earlier, and that frequency was, let me check here, I wrote it down, as you should, 134.2. So we're going to tune to 134.2, which makes it a lot easier on our departure because we don't have to tune it mid-air. So now we have the 134.2 in there, and we are ready to go. Excuse me. Set our altitude to 4,000 feet.
Skyhawk 734 Kilo uniform is on the ramp near Victor with Bravo request.
So the important bit about IFR is that we're going to follow our instruments. Nothing else matters other than these instruments right here.
734 Kilo uniform, Santa Maria ground runway 30, taxi via Victor Alpha.
Taxi via Victor Alpha 734 Kilo uniform.
Van Nuys Tower, November 75 Quebec Alpha, ready for departure.
75 Quebec Alpha, Van Nuys Tower 130 at 6, runway 16 right, clear for takeoff.
16 right, clear for takeoff, 75 Quebec Alpha. Alright, we have our takeoff clearance, we're ready to go. Go ahead and turn on our landing lights and strobe lights. Land. Strobe. Go ahead and get lined up nicely.
53323 Santa Maria Tower, and right down runway 30, report midfield.
We'll put in one notch of flaps.
Field right downwind for 30 53323.
And let's go.
Auto feather lights on.
509, turn left heading 250.
Airspeed alarm.
Yeah, once you roll out Los Angeles Airport, will be slightly ready at 12 o'clock, 900 miles advised when you have the airport.
Alright, power set.
509, roger. Connect LA Tower 120.9. 0.95.
V1. Rotate. V2.
And just gently rotate off the ground here.
Attitudes check. Gear indicates on.
And we're going to turn to heading 110 now.
Flaps up.
For 509 LA Tower, good afternoon. Remain south, runway 25 left. You can proceed direct to the south ramp, landing there at your own risk. Use caution, area is a non-movement area. Wind 240 at 12, report landing assured.
We see our heading is 108. SoCal approach, 75 Quebec Alpha. SoCal approach, November 75 Quebec Alpha, 2,100, climbing 4,000.
75 Quebec Alpha, SoCal departure to contact, climb maintain 9,000.
Climb maintain 9,000, 75 Quebec Alpha. So now we're going to go and climb and maintain 9,000.
Let me know once you're on the ground there.
Okay, switch to 12095 right now. We'll report at the ground 509.
Just making small adjustments as we climb here. Go ahead and take the flaps up now.
Flaps indicates on.
Continue climbing though. And we're still just maintaining just about 110 heading. If we slip off that heading a little bit, it's fine. So long as we're maintaining that general bearing of 110, we're going to be safe.
75 Quebec Alpha, turn right, heading 260.
260, 75 Quebec Alpha. It's giving us a heading of 260, so we're going to turn to that. And we're just using our instruments to navigate now, because we are in the clouds. So we know, using this right here, that we are aiming up towards the sky. We know that we are climbing at 1,500 feet per minute, and we know our altitude is 5,400 feet without even looking outside the cockpit. What a beautiful day out too. Wish I could be flying for real.
Papa Foxtrot advising you have the Burbank Airport in sight.
Field in sight, 12 Papa Fox.
12 Papa Foxtrot, thanks. Stay with me for now, enter a right base runway 15.
Right base for 15, 12 Papa Fox.
Now 260, we're on the heading. Just keep climbing. I'm just setting that up for when he gives us our direct to Twine.
34 Kilo Uniform. Santa Maria Tower, left. Make left, close traffic, report midfield downwind each time, runway 30, clear for takeoff.
Turn a prop sync on now.
Ground, November 509, landed at South J ramp.
Or 509, roger, thank you. For 75, Quebec Alpha, turn right. Heading 330 direct Twine, 18, will resume on navigation.
330 direct Twine, 75 Quebec Alpha. So grab Twine, put it right there.
Juliet Golf, connect point, we go approach 124.
And use our nav mode now.
4.70, Juliet Golf, thank you. Point Magoo, approach. Good afternoon, Cirrus 550 Juliet Golf at 7500.
To turn direct to Twine.
550 Juliet Golf, point Magoo approach Camry altimeter 3014.
30140 Juliet Golf.
2775 Santa Maria Tower, roger. You guys plan
And since we're below 10,000 feet, we still have to be careful on our speed. So I'll go ahead and try to keep it around 240-ish.
Sorry, say that again. Roger, sounds good. Runway 30, clear to land. That's runway 30 for the flight of 2. Runway 30, clear to land.
So yeah, now we are on our course. We're heading direct to Twine. We're at 9,000 feet. So we're set up. We're good. And this is the easiest part of IFR now. It's just the cruise. You don't do anything. You just sit back, you let the airplane fly itself. It's nice and easy. Joy of modern flying. Alright, so I'll call you guys back in a second when I am approaching the Oceanside VOR. And I'll show you guys how to shoot a full ILS approach. Okay guys, welcome back. We just started our initial descent to 5,000 feet. We're going to do the full ILS, runway 24. We're going to ask the ATC for that. And it's going to be some tricky flying. We're going to do old style with the VOR. But it's going to work. It's going to be fine. And it's going to be a pretty awesome approach to do. So it's going to be a fun time. We might not do it that way. It just depends on how busy it is down there. And how much margin for error I have. Because I don't do it like this that often.
Wind calm, runway 6 clear for takeoff, on course, turns approved.
So we're just descending now, nice and easy. Down to 5,000 feet, which is where ATC told us to descend to. You never leave your altitude unless the ATC explicitly says to do so.
Citation 2 Golf Sierra, amend altitude, climb, maintain flight level 320 for the final.
Approach number 75 by Alpha, confirm you have a request for the full ILS approach. 2-4.
Number 75 Quebec Alpha, contact SoCal approach 119.6 with that request.
119.6 with that request, see ya. Alright, so he told us to contact 119.6 and asked them for that. SoCal approach November 75 Quebec Alpha 5,600 descending 5,000, requested a full ILS approach runway 24 at Palomar.
Bird 75 Quebec Alpha. I'm going to be unable to full ILS. I can offer you vectors to final for the ILS 24.
Roger, take vectors to final then.
Baron 5, correction, King Air 5, Quebec Alpha, depart Oceanside heading 090 vector ILS runway 24, and maintain 230 knots or greater.
230 knots or greater, vector, leave Oceanside at heading 090 for the, at the Oceanside VOR.
Baron 6 Delta Papa, maintain 150 knots.
Maintain 150 knots, 6 Delta.
Loud and clear, calling Montgomery. And flight 1954, I'm not forgetting about you. Your next, say type aircraft.
Okay, cool. So now we are on a heading of 090 from the Oceanside VOR. Heading set to 090 there. It's essentially going to be the full ILS approach. You can see basically the full ILS approach is 083.
Clear to the Palm Springs Airport for the Border 7 departure, browse transition, then as filed. Climb maintain 8,000, expect 1000, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 119.6.
So we're essentially doing the same thing. Just a little bit of a different routing because he's giving us his own vectors. So this is something that might happen to you. You might get vectored around by ATC. In this case, we're getting vectored, which is fine. It's a pretty good vector. Yeah. So it's going to be just a little vector in. It makes it actually easier on us. And we told him to maintain 230 knots or greater. So we'll go ahead and bump that throttle up now.
Stuck by me, you know you got a contact clearance slippery on that, Bravo.
Because we are in I think we're fighting with a Baron for that first landing slot. So he's trying to keep us ahead of him.
Never call Montgomery ground, set the call sign.
Keep him more efficient. So we're going to go ahead and be landing first, hopefully.
Right, taxi via Hotel Alpha.
If all goes well.
Number 420 Echo Papa, I thought you were an eastbound departure. Where are you going?
So there is the airport right there. We'll call on Palomar Airport. We'll be landing there in just a minute. We're going to go ahead and tune to the ILS frequency now, make it easier on ourselves. So we're just going to go ahead and pull it up in here. But it's also in our sectional chart, not our sectional chart, but our approach plate that we were using earlier. But I no longer have that pulled up. So I've just tuned ourselves to the ILS.
Number 420 Echo Papa, say altitude.
And when it's time,
Is there anybody calling for a clearance that has not been answered? Say the call sign.
so now we have it's set up. We have the approach, the ILS put into our system now. Okay, we're going over 250. We don't want to be doing that, so we're gonna pull that throttle back just a little bit.
420 Echo Papa, negative on the early frequency change.
And it looks like the aircraft has now detected the ILS, or the localizer for the ILS 24 right. Sorry, 24 at McClellan.
Here 5 Quebec Alpha, turn left heading 060, descend and maintain 4000.
060 4000 75 Quebec Alpha. So we're going to disconnect the autopilot now. Autopilot disconnected. He said 060 and 4000. So we're going to start that turn now. We're going to go ahead and slow down.
Care 5 Quebec now.
0507 Quebec Alpha, my bad. So I actually just was not listening properly there. You have to listen to what ACC says, and I wasn't doing it there, so that's my bad. Don't do what I did just there. It's just there. Listen to the instruction and also pay attention. I was on a heading of 090, so it would make sense to turn left, and I turned right instead because I'm dumb. What I thought was that they were setting me up for the ILS. So now we have to continue our descent down to 4,000. So we're going to descend about 1,000 feet per minute, and you can see it right there on this instrument right here. We're descending around 1,000 feet per minute. Staying over 230 knots like he asked.
Or 1718 golf, contact SoCal approach 134.2, good day.
134.2, want to go?
Sorry about that.
King Air 5 Quebec Alpha, turn right heading 220.
22075 Quebec Alpha.
Baron 6 Pop, correction, Baron 6 Delta Papa, turn right heading 210.
Turn right, 210, 6 Delta Papa.
So now we're turning to heading 220, which will set us up for the ILS.
Number 75 Quebec Alpha, 7 miles from Escon, turn right heading 210, maintain 4,000 to establish the localizer, cleared ILS 24 approach.
210 till established, cleared ILS, runway 24, 75 Quebec Alpha. He also told us to maintain 4,000 till established. I did not read that back. I was supposed to. Did not. My bad. Sometimes you can abbreviate like that. He let it slide.
1954, SoCal departure radar contact.
1,000 feet to minimum distance.
So we're going to maintain 4,000 feet, even though we're a little bit below that right now. And now we are established. You can see we're actually going to overshoot just a little bit, but we'll be fine. We'll just use a little bit of rudder here. And get set up. There we are.
Baron 6 Delta Papa, turn right heading
1,000 feet
240.
to minimum distance.
Right, 240, 6 Delta Papa.
So you can see right here is where we have our ILS. So how do you shoot an ILS and how do you know what you're doing? So right here is where we need to be. So we need to turn to the right in order to set up. So we want to have this right here in the middle. We want to have this right here on the center. So we're not going to descend anymore until this comes down into the center right here. And we need to have this in the center as well. So we need to turn a little bit further right.
Baron 6 Delta Papa, turn left heading 140.
Left 140, 6 Delta Papa.
Baron 6 Delta Papa, affirmative, turn left heading 140, vector sequence.
So right now he's sequencing that Baron who's somewhere behind us, probably. Go look for him.
King Air 5 Quebec Alpha, maintain 180 knots or greater to Sidru. Contact tower Sidru 118.6.
180 knots or greater to Sidru, 75 Quebec Alpha, and then contact tower on what frequency again? For 75 Quebec Alpha?
King Air 5 Quebec Alpha at Sidru, contact tower 118.6.
118.6, thanks.
Baron 6 Delta Papa, 4 miles from Escon, turn right heading 210, maintain 3,600 till established localizer, cleared ILS 24 approach.
So he told us maintain 180 knots or greater till Sidru. We have the field in sight now.
Calling.
Oops, I did not mean to do that yet.
Set call sign.
So Sidru
Number 751, Lima uniform.
is
departure,
the
radar
second
contact, climb, maintain 10.
waypoint after this one. And now we have intercepted the glide slope, so now we're going to begin descending once again. Meanwhile, we're going to get back on that localizer. and make sure it's in the center. So the goal with the ILS approach is to have everything centered all the time and keep it there. And so you follow where the sensors are. If it's to the left, you go to the left. If it's to the right, you go to the right. If it's down, you go down.
King Air 5, Quebec Alpha, speed your discretion.
Speed at my discretion, 75 Quebec Alpha. Alright, cool. So we give a speed at my discretion. So now I'm going to go ahead and slow down to a approach speed. And we were a little bit high on the approach now because we were going just so fast before.
Flight 1954, climb maintain 11,000.
Alright, up to 11,000.
Alright, passing Sidrew, so now we're going to go contact Tower. Tower, November 75, Quebec Alpha, ILS runway 24.
November 75, Quebec Alpha, Palomar Tower, runway 24, cleared to land.
Cleared to land 24, 75, Quebec Alpha. So we've got our landing clearance. We're going to go ahead and drop our gear now. Gear extension is 184 knots limit. We were well below that when we extended, so we're good.
1,000 feet to minimum.
Ignore that minimums call, that's entirely wrong. You see we have our radar altitude right here. We have our localizer right here. We have our glide slope right here. So now we're around 850 feet radar above ground level. So at our minimums, we are going to go ahead and our minimums is 200 feet. So ignore what that's saying. That's not right. Our minimums is 200 feet for this approach. We're going way too fast.
Palomar Tower, Baron 66 Delta Papa established on ILS 24.
Okay, put the approach flap in.
Delta Papa, Palomar Tower, runway 24, clear to land.
Alright, we're at our minimums now, but we're not actually. Our minimums are 200 feet.
Traffic, a King Air on about a half-mile final.
Now we're going to use our visual aids because we're at 200 feet. That's our real minimums.
Right to your pop contact departure.
And put it on those landing flaps now. We're going to approach it around 120.
50 feet.
And just slowly ease out that throttle.
Props full.
November Tower 704, November Delta, exit downwind, and this will be
Put in reverse thrust. Put the props to full.
November Delta, runway 28 right, clear to land.
right, clear to land, November Delta.
Palm Springs Tower, Cirrus 232 Bravo Bravo, with you about 6 miles northwest of the airport, inbound for touch and go. Departure to...
For whatever reason, I just bumped my mixture.
232 Bravo Bravo, Palm Springs Tower, make straight in, runway
That's my
13
bad.
right,
Ignore that.
touch and go.
But yeah,
13 right,
we're gonna vacate over here.
for touch and go for 232 Bravo Bravo.
Go ahead and it's awkward. Alpha 6 is our vacation. That's where we vacated. Tower, November 7, Quebec Alpha. Clear the runway at Alpha 6.
5 Quebec Alpha, exit parking via Alpha.
Parking via Alpha 7, Quebec Alpha. And we'll just go one engine to parking. I'm gonna watch that Baron come in, wherever he is. Here you can see his little lights right there.
Off of ground, November 1337 with information.
Yeah, I bumped my mixture, which wasn't because I used the mixture. I set the mixture with my hand earlier in here in the sim. So it was in a different location. So when I bumped my mixture, it just cut the engine fuel off. But yeah, that is how you conduct an ILS approach. That is how you fly an IFR flight. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, I enjoy making it. It's always fun to fly, regardless of what I'm doing in teaching. I really actually enjoy teaching you guys these videos, with these videos, so it's a great experience for me. So please let me know if you like them. Like it, watch it again, recommend it to a friend, whatever you want to do. We're going to be seeing a lot more of these coming in the future. It was a really great experience for me. It's always fun to do it. And yeah, hope you guys had a great time, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.
Montgomery Tower 704 November Delta off at Mike, back to Croner.
4 November Delta at Mike, cross runway 28, left taxi to parking via hotel.
Cross to right on Mike in the parking hotel 704 November Delta. Have a good day.